Hello everybody and welcome back to Witcombe Park Farm. So what a pleasant surprise to see that we are getting a straw swath from the poppies, which makes me very glad that we did hold on to the baler. Otherwise if we can't do the grass, at least it gives us something else that we're able to do. And I don't honestly know, I haven't looked at what the price of poppies are. But luckily for us, this is only a very small field. So in this episode, we are going to now have to get this baled. Obviously, it needs liming as well. And I would like to try and get, because I think we are able to get wheat in, so we can get some wheat in down in that bottom field. What I haven't checked, which I probably should have done, is if we look at here, so this is anywhere between 9 and 23%. And if we go into the combine, we are 12%, so that I think is very oh, we're only class C though. That's interesting. So should it be drier? I don't know, but looking at the weather forecast, it is going to rain. So by my understanding of the moisture mod, that means that we should really get this in. The only other thing that we could be doing is if we were to wait a month, maybe it may be better for us to do it that way. But considering I still don't know too much about it all, and I've installed it obviously because it's something that I want to use and learn about, I'm not going to take that risk. And especially with rain in the forecast, I think it's better that we just get on and get this harvested. So that is what we're going to go do. So the fence already lined up there, and the massey, I think that could be still over in one of the barns. So as soon as either when we're full or we've finished this field, we'll get the massey, get the trailer, and make our way back here. I'll tell you something, this, if you picture, like combine, look at the hedges as they're blowing in the wind, and then this fog that's coming through, when I've been filming it like that, obviously doing the time lapse, it looks like a proper stormy sort of day coming in, especially when you see that there's rain in the forecast to come. It's hard to put it into words, but the feeling behind it is just awesome. That's all I can really say. But yeah, that's just mint. I have seen a comment on the first episode of, I think it's Dancing with Clouds, on it, saying about the Fendt combine on there. I completely agree. I couldn't think of any other combine that you'd want to try and tackle that bank. It just looks absolutely extreme. Anyways, so we put that there. Let's PTO out, pipes out, and can I drop it from here or not? No, I've got to do it from in the cab. Okay, why aren't you letting me drop? Okay, let's try again. If we need to be a bit better lined up. No. Alright. Let's put all that back on. Let's lower it down. Let's take them off. Hey, come on. Why won't you let me put you on that trailer? Now it's going to say put the hoses back on. It does seem, I don't know whether it is this combine, but it does seem a bit temperamental. I'm going to go try and do a few things like this. Unless it won't let me take it off. because I still have poppies in the tank, maybe. Right, let's try. That's good enough, is it not? Right, try again. No. Okay, well, the only other thing I can think of is we have a load of poppies in the tank. So if we leave that like so, jump to this, and we need the trailer, which I believe should be just in front of us to the left. Ooh, we don't want to bash into that too much. So we'll get this put on, and I will see you over at the combine just to see whether this works doing it this way or not. First off, let's put that in, pipes in, and let's go. I'm going to have to spin round here. Right, please work for me. So we hop out, then we can now go back into this one. Everything's disconnected, and once that's unloaded, we'll try again. And I completely forgot, I did have planned, which it's not often I do have a plan, but I did have planned to try doing my thumbnail of the poppy harvesting, because obviously it's a first, well, it's first for me in 25, but completely forgot. So I may use it as a caption, but I'll just have to have a look at something else. But if we pull this out of the way, let's leave this just here for now as I try work out what is going on with this situation. I don't know whether we may have to move it out the way, maybe, but it's the first time I've had problems actually getting it onto the header trailer. No. That was completely on me. I was on the combine and not on the actual header itself. That's why I couldn't get it off. I'm having an absolute mare with this. And look at that, the rain is now here, so we have just got that off in time, which does make me think, can it get wet in the trailer? Because if that is the case, we now need to run and go get this trailer emptied. Oh, it's carnage. It's starting to feel more and more like real life. Let's put the sheet over so we know that can't get wet. So that's 12%. We'll get this put straight into the silo, and then we won't be able to bale it now because it's wet. But would we be able to go and drill? I don't quite know what we're going to be able to do now. This is where if we had animals, you could then go, right, well, let's go feed the animals whilst it's raining. You know, it gives you that extra job. But let's have a look at time-saving stock check. So the poppies that we have just put in, I'll just go like this. We have £3,500 worth of poppies. We have almost the equivalent, the same amount in barley and canola, but yet we've got twice as much barley with a max price of 378. That won't stop making me laugh seeing that. But alright, we now need to have a think of what we're going to do now it's raining. So I'm just going to have a look in the use sale, where there's only one thing that makes me look at it and go, that may be worth having, and that's that disc harrow. 180 horsepower, so I've got the horsepower to do it, and it's 6 meters. What is our disc harrow? It's 4.5, so we would get, if we sold that, we'll get 12,722. Obviously, we're gaining another metre and a half. And so 12, let's just say 13,000. If I sold the plough, that's 23,000. If I go to here, so that would be able to pay for that. What's the working? So it's slightly bigger, but we're losing a mile an hour in working speed. But it's Amazon, which, as I've in the previous episode said, I really do like the Amazon equipment. That's 2.8 tons. And what's my one? Well, my one's actually heavier. Oh, no. Do we have a swap of them. Oh, now it's got me thinking. And then the other thing that there was only one other thing that did make me think is with the straw. To get it baled, we need for it to dry. Is it worth going to get a tedder, and then we can ted the straw to try dry it out? But if we were to do that, it would mean that we would then have to get a windrower, which I don't quite know which windrowers we have got. But obviously a tedder will come in handy. Once we get that one, I don't think we'll ever have need to get another one. There's that Vermeer one, which I like that one. There's that one, which is just a standard. Everyone, that's just seems the most sensible option to go for. You know, that it's a quicker working with, but you're only 0.6 meters. I think we should put the sheet over, and we should park this out of the way just for the time being to keep this dry. Put it in the grain store because there's nothing in here at the moment. And I think it could be a good idea for the cultivator to go, the disc harrow to go, and for the plough, because we're getting rid of two things which are old and battered. We're getting one thing that's even more battered, but we're getting that bigger working with, so it will speed us up down the line. So let's take that off there. We'll take the front weight off here. I think if we put the plough on the back, put the disc harrow on the front. Oh, you need to lower the front weight. Okay, that's certainly not what I thought. There we go. Let's do it. And then at least we know that when it comes now to disc harrowing, we've got the biggest setup possible for ourselves. One of the things here is I don't think we will have to put the... oh no, we will have to put the pipes in. I just about to say, do we have to put them in? Because we won't really be using it out like that. But anyways, put them in. To be fair, we need to fold it for transport mode. So we do. Now let's go around this way and find our little disc harrow. Which... the one benefit of us selling this disc harrow so early is it does leave it open for us to use in a different series, which I'm very, very keen for because I do really like it, especially for the horsepower requirements of it. Yeah, it's next to nothing really. Let's put them in and let's raise that up. And we will make our way down to the store because there isn't really a right lot we can do until this weather brightens up. So I think that will also mean that when it comes to drilling, we may have to do that this month, but move on a day. So where is the shop trigger? Obviously we go in through that front door there if we want to buy stuff through that. I am going to take a guess that it is through... that's servicing, so is that going to... through that one? I was going to say that one to begin with, if I'm completely honest, but it also does say deliveries, so that's a bit of a giveaway. It's a bit like the Montana on the seed drill and asking where the drill comes from. But right, let's go to here and let's just see how much we are definitely getting. So just over 10,000. Do I repaint or not? Because my worry is, if I repaint, will I get the money back? So I think let's just minimise the risk. Do that. Let's go into the used sale. Please still be here. Yes, so we've managed to buy that and make a little bit of money. Yeah, sold 24,200 and some, so we've made money. Although a couple hundred, but we've made money and we've still got a piece of equipment that we are going to use. Do I see, what would an engine upgrade be in this? I probably won't do it, but it's just going to be interesting to know where we can go with it. So if we go to there, go customize. So we're the 165. So to get it up to 200 horsepower, it's 13,000. Oh, so we can only go 200 horsepower. So 13,000, 200 horsepower, and then that's us maxed out. So we are on currently 185, which, like I said, it's 5 more horses than what this cultivator needs. But with the hills, that's where we may struggle. But taking a bit of a punt here, and it's Amazon, so I quite like it. Let's just line that up like so. Attach it on. There's no PTO, but there's the light. We really need the front weight on, would be very, very handy, and that looks massive on the back of that tractor. But right, we will take this back up to the farm. Not before, however, we get ourselves some diesel. I know we've got a diesel tank, but we might as well call in here to fill up. I do have fuel set on high, so it should require us to fill up a lot more, which I think it's just a nice little thing, because if you're playing on low fuel, not efficiency, but fuel usage, then you can sometimes, with some tractors, you could probably do a whole let's play without even having to fill the thing up, which is highly realistic. The big question now is, what do we do? With this rain, I can't, base game, I'd go and bale, just get it baled and be done with, but, oh, that's a bad idea. Hold on, let's just try and get out of there. So that cannot go into that shed, which will mean where I've probably left the weight. No, we can get into there, so that is okay. We can get into where the weight is. So I will just reverse into there and then put that on, because I'll have a look on the contract menu and see whether there's maybe a cultivating contract to go and do. It's the only thing I can really think of to keep us going, because I don't want to just be passing through time. So let's lift that up, and contracts. Okay, so we do have, where are we? I think we're down here. What's field 60? That's a big contract, not doing that. Let's go so that we're seeing a different side of the map. Let's accept that one, which is field 18. So if we go to here, so we want to come out our driveway, turn right, out our driveway, turn right. As soon as we can turn right again, go to there, and then just keep going straight on. Well, considering it's the first time I'm driving up here, some of you watching, you may have done it already before, but I think we'll just put this into a very, very short time lapse so you can see the drive up there. So that is the field we need to get into, and we're on the wrong side. Oh, and I'm also going to the wrong side of the road. Can we? I'm hoping we can sweep round this top somewhere to get hold of it. Well, see you then. Yes, there looks to be up here that we can turn right. This is lovely with all the trees and whatnot going on in here. And is that our field, or is that's field 16? By the looks of it, you need to get through field 16 to be able to get to 18. That then now makes me think, do we just cultivate 16 as well, so we're making some more money? Obviously it'll have to be 2 separate time lapses. So let's go 16, accept contract, like that. Let's start. Oh, that was very quick. Let's start getting that unfolded. let's go on to here, steering assist 2, that sounds decent enough to me. Right, now let's drop this down. Okay, we'll try again. I dropped the front weight. I dropped the front weight down then. Let's drop that down. Now let's see how this goes. That's annoying. I thought I could finish the field, but anyways, I did want to try show you. I was hoping to get back around to that top corner, but the farm up here, which to be fair, we'll have a run up. We've got the time. You know, I don't want to just go from one cultivating contract straight away into another one, so at least it gives a bit of a slight bit of a break. But yeah, this was one of the other options of where I was going to start this Let's Play in this farmyard, because I just loved the feeling of the old barn. You know, you've got this barn, you've got this barn. I am not touching that, and I am not touching that, or that. And I'll leave it up to you lot to decide why. And then, yeah, I thought this would be quite a nice little place to start. But then I saw the main farmyard, and with the main farmyard having you were able to milk the cows, which I need to look into that. It seems to be a common thing for me during this safari. I need to look into. But you get to milk the cows, and you've got to do it. I think you've got to do it manually, otherwise you won't get any milk. And that I thought was quite a cool little feature to go and do. So that's why I then decided that I would stay at the main farm. We're only just getting through with that. That I would stay at the main farm, but to compromise, I would then change all of the equipment up so that it was different from anyone else who was doing a Let's Play. You know, I think it makes a Let's Play and stuff like that a bit more personal when you decide and you choose how you want to play it and what you want to use. Like, from my survival series and from Kinleague, I want to try and make things harder if possible. How nice would it have been if that was the end there? Which, to be fair, we're not going to get much down this right hand side until it then turns around to us and says that we don't have access to this field anymore. Which, if the owners only want half a job, that is, there we go. If the owners only want half a job, that is completely up to them. And I can't remember whether I said it before, but I definitely thought it when doing that field. This setup, I am so happy with. Like, even down to the front weight, you know, the whole front weight thing was, well, it could come in handy, it may not do, I'll get one just in case. I'm so glad I did, and especially getting rid of the plough, which, like I say, we may need it, you know, which I imagine that will be for if we get down to do tram lines in to get rid of them. But for that, I'd much rather use a subsoiler, because you're only going up and down, so you want to make sure that you cover the width. So we don't need the plough for that. That's cool. I love all these little bits of details. But yeah, so we didn't need the plough for that. And obviously we've now got an extra 1.5 meters working width with this and selling our other ones. And on there, we were on a slight bit of a bank, and it didn't struggle in the slightest. I think we lost 2 miles an hour, you know, but there was no proper, it wasn't gutless out like that, if that makes sense. But anyways, so I haven't been down this way before, so this is all completely new to me. And it would be one of those, I need to bear in mind where we come out. We must still be going to where that junction was. Let's just have a look at the road that way. Is this where the junction is? Yeah, just down here. So we'll be turning left here and then down instantly left, and that should be our farm up there, I'm guessing. What's that? The plough? So there's a pub there. It'd be interesting whether, yeah, depending on what time of year it is, if there's more cars there or less cars there. That'll be something to take note of. But look at all this. It's like these buildings here. You could have bought that, and I think you get the barn with it, so then you could use the barn, you know, and be like a little contractor or something like that. There's all these little ideas and little things that you could possibly go and do. But right, we need to find an adequate shed to leave or to put this in, because I want to go and check. I want to try and find out what the straw is bale moisture wise, because if we can get on and bale that, then that will that'll be brilliant. But to do that, we are going to have to drop this off. So I believe we could maybe just about get into there if we put it onto the other side of the grain store. At least then we can put it down, because I would imagine it needs to be unfolded as well. So right, let's lower it down, pipes off, detach it, and let's go find the baler. So according to ChatGPT, 16%, which we did in the other field, is absolutely fine. We're not going to lose anything from that, and the bale's not going to rot away. And that's actually dry, so that sun must have dried it out a fair bit since the rain, because it would have moved on a few hours now, wouldn't we? So that's brilliant news, and this shouldn't take us too long. But what I will do is just to make our bank balance look a little bit better. There is almost £2,000, and there is over £2,500. So what's that? That's 3,000, 4,000, £400,000 there from doing not a right lot. So that does pay for some of our seed and fertiliser as and when we need it. Well, that's unbelievably handy. So we can just go to here, unload. Is it going to be just the one bale? I am going to unload the other bale because it's almost complete. And I'm hoping that next time we will, well, in one of the upcoming episodes, we'll be able to get on and do the grass, just so we can get a load of silage put away, you know, for come the winter or whenever we're short of cash that we can sell. And then it also means that we could possibly look at getting some cows in the near future. But I think we just want to make sure that we're steadfast instead of rushing into anything. So let's just put this here. Let's PTO, take all pipes off, drop that down. Now where is, I'll go jump in this in the Kramer. because we will have these 2 bales now just to sort out, put into the shed, because we do have bale rotting on, which at 11% I don't think we would lose anything, but if you lose them outside, if you leave them outside, I believe that you start losing quantity within the bale, and obviously with them already being fairly worthless, I would rather not lose any more than what I have to. So bale number 1 and bale number 2. I would imagine 3 high is probably going to be the best height to put them, because if we go any higher then we're going over the silage clap, over the top of the silage clap wall, and that will not be very handy. Alright, so that's those 2. Bring them over here, and I'd love to know how sensitive the bale rot is. So I am presuming that it must realise when there are bales underneath a roof, and it's one of them of, will it recognise that these ones, which they are under the roof but they're quite close, will it recognise them as being outside or inside? That's what I would find most interesting. Right, we need to go jump in the fence now, which has been waiting here patiently for us, because we now need to get some lime put onto here, and then once this lime's done we can look at getting it cultivated, but I believe that's probably best left for the next episode, because obviously we've got some drilling and rolling to do as well to get our wheat into the ground. So let's do that. Let's turn that on and we'll get this done. Well, it's just the grass field that we need to cut and then get limed, and then we can send this back. The biggest problem is, look at the steep of that, the slope on that bank and how steep it is. We do not stand a chance going up there in the fence. So I believe we should take this off now, and we can leave it here in anticipation for the Massey to try. But that is just unreal, trying to get up there. Is there a field further up above it? No, it's just a gap through the trees. I wonder what's... I've just tried to look through there. It almost looks like there's a withered field. Unless, is that going... Oh yeah, it is. It's 51 that we can see up through there. But right, let's take this off in anticipation. There. Let's pull this out the way. We might as well go park it in the workshop just to keep this under cover. And then yeah, by the looks of it, we are going to have to hire ourselves or lease some mowers and a bale wrapper for us to be able to do that bit of a bank. But anyways, I think I just want to say thank you very much for watching. I hope you've all liked and enjoyed the video, and I'll see you again in the next one. Bye for now.